Namaskar and welcome to Diplomatic Dispatch. I'm your host, Vikas Swarup. In today's episode, we will tackle a subject that seems to belong to the realm of science fiction rather than diplomacy. I'm talking about artificial intelligence. And that's because India has just been elected as the new chair of the Global Partnership on Artificial Intelligence, or GPAI. Launched in June 2020 with 15 members, GPAI is the fruition of an idea developed within the G7 as a multi-stakeholder initiative on artificial intelligence, which aims to fill what it describes as the gap between theory and practice on AI by supporting cutting-edge research as well as applied activities on AI-related priorities. The initiative facilitates international cooperation on artificial intelligence by bringing together on a single platform experts from science, industry, civil society, governments, international bodies, and academia to promote responsible evolution of AI, grounded in human rights, inclusion, diversity, innovation, and economic growth. Today, GPAI has 29 members ranging from Argentina to Turkey. All the countries of the G7, including the European Union, are also members of GPAI. India joined as a founding member in 2020. The OECD, or Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, is a permanent observer to GPAI's governing bodies, contributes experts to participate in GPAI's working groups, and hosts the GPAI Secretariat in Paris. GPAI experts currently collaborate across 4 working groups on the themes of responsible AI, including a subgroup on AI and pandemic response, data governance, the future of work, and innovation and commercialization. The inaugural summit of GPAI was held in Montreal in December 2020, followed by Paris in November 2021. Tokyo hosted the third summit on November 21 and 22, where India was represented virtually by Minister of State for Electronics and IT, Shri Rajiv Chandra Shekhar. The next summit will be hosted in 2023 by India, which was elected as the Council Chair, receiving more than 2/3 majority of the first preference votes, while Canada and the US were ranked in the next 2 best places in the tally. Following the handover of the presidency by France, Minister Chandra Shekhar tweeted, "We can now engage closely with member states to establish a framework for utilizing AI's capacity to benefit citizens worldwide." It is significant that India's chairmanship of GPAI coincides with India's presidency of the G20. So how exactly is India going to use its chairmanship of GPAI, and how artificial intelligence can be a game changer for India? To discuss these issues, I have with me 2 superb experts. Mr. Abhishek Singh belongs to the Indian Administrative Service. He is currently President and CEO, National E-Governance Division of the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, Managing Director and CEO of Digital India Corporation, and CEO of Karam Yogi Bharat. Mr. Shashi Shekhar is a technocrat, columnist, and policy thinker. An alumnus of IIT Bombay, he was the youngest and first non-bureaucrat to serve as CEO of Prasar Bharati, India's public broadcaster, between 2017 and 2022. He has published extensively on emerging technologies and public policy issues. Let me start with you, Shashi ji. Can you explain to our viewers the most basic question? What exactly is artificial intelligence?
I think it's a great topic and a great question. So thank you for having me here today. Artificial intelligence is basically being the ability of a machine or a computer to do tasks that we typically associate with human intelligence, right? Be it the ability to speak, the ability to listen, interpret, make complex decisions, infer knowledge. For example, when you're conversing with an Alexa at home, or the Siri on your tab or iPad is responding to you, it is artificial intelligence at work. Similarly, when Netflix is suggesting, you watch this and you may like this movie, right? That's artificial intelligence at work. On YouTube or on your Facebook timeline, when things pop up, again, that's artificial intelligence at work. So artificial intelligence is basically the ability to look at a large amount of information and data and make meaningful decisions in a very short span of time. And today, I think the machines have gotten to a point where they have perhaps even surpassed what we as humans are able to do. And a great example of that is perhaps chess,
Yes.
right, where machines are able to beat even the best of human players.
Now, Mr. Singh, you have just returned from Tokyo, where you attended the third GPay summit. What is India's interest in GPay?
See, like as you rightly mentioned in the beginning, that India is the founder member of the GPay, which was initially set up by the G7 and the OECD members. So in a way, it was started as a club of the developed nations, but given India's strength in technology, we have been like the technology providers for the entire world for a very long time. And over and above that, the digital transformation projects that we have implemented in India, which are commonly known as the India Stack, whether it's the Aadhaar platform or the UPI or the DigiLocker or the innovations which have been done in healthcare and agriculture. So India is regarded as a country which has a lot of strength in implementing technology projects. Number two, when we look at like the AI skilled workforce in the world, we are amongst the world's largest providers of AI skilled workforce.
Correct.
Then we also have a very vibrant AI startup ecosystem, and we are ranked number 2 in the Stanford AI Index, Vibrancy Index. So all that makes India ideally suited to leverage the advantages that are coming through the artificial intelligence projects that the world will be implementing. So we are also going to become the solution provider for AI solutions, not only for India, but for the world. And over and above, as AI evolves, the standards and the regulations that will be built around ethical and responsible AI, there is a need to ensure the global south is represented there, the voice of the developing nations is represented there. So all that makes India ideally suited to ensure that we have a seat on the table and a seat with a voice in order to ensure that we kind of become part of the conversations and negotiations with regard to development of ethical and responsible AI.
Following up on that, Shashi ji, now both India and GPay have been stressing on the need for responsible and ethical use of artificial intelligence. Why is this important? Is there a danger of robots taking over? I mean, what are some of the pitfalls associated with artificial intelligence?
Absolutely. I think a lot of these concerns with new technologies are very valid. And in the case of artificial intelligence, it is more so because it is not humanly possible for us to know how the AI arrived at, a decision that it took, or how did it arrive at, the recommendation it made. Because a lot of the logic that goes in and the complex math that is underlying it, that's not humanly discernible. And that's where the concerns of, ethics and responsibility, transparency and accountability come in, because we are increasingly using these technologies for example, facial recognition, right? So how will that, contribute to profiling, for example? Behavioral targeting, and behavioral targeting is something that happens all the time when we are using our mobile phones, apps, browsing the internet, the ads that get thrown at us. You have algorithms sitting behind those websites and apps which are learning that, this is what Vikas likes, or this is what Shashi likes, or Abhishek likes, right? And the question then is that, is this data that is being collected, are these algorithms, are they, operating in a fair and transparent manner? We saw all the concerns that happened recently during the presidential elections in the United States.
Yes.
Where, platforms like Facebook were blamed for, pushing a lot of content which is not accurate, which is fake, and which perhaps even influence the electoral outcomes in certain constituencies, right? So that is where the concerns of AI come in. Similarly, in terms of predictive analytics, I think that is where perhaps the biggest concerns would be, that based on predictive analytics, are you going to ascribe potential behavior to me and then make decisions based on that? I think that would be very concerning. For example, I just learned that there is a educational edtech company which is looking at large amounts of data sets of how students are performing, and then based on that profiling them and making predictions that this is how they're going to fare at the entrance test, so let me focus on these guys, let me not focus on the other guys, right? So stuff like that. So the potential for misuse, the potential for lack of fairness, and the opaqueness because of the way these algorithms work, I think all of those are concerns, and that is perhaps where the ethical angle comes in.
So is there some kind of an international norms are being developed to ensure that there is responsible and ethical use of AI takes place?
Yes, there are the principles of responsible and ethical AI, and also what is also known as explainable AI, in which that whenever AI is being used for any particular purpose, it should be the responsibility of the person who is providing the solution to explain it to how they are using data, how they are using analytics, what is being used for, in what ways it may impact anyone else using that service. For example, we always keep on getting recommendations with regard to if you are watching a Netflix series that you may also like to see this, or if you are watching on YouTube you may also like to. So all of it is working on your browsing pattern, your interest patterns. So similarly, how it is done, what all is being tracked, what all data of yours is being used, that needs to be explained, that needs to be used. Similarly, when we develop responsible AI, where do we cross the line? Like making driverless cars is all right, yes, but trying to do image recognition without people's knowledge, there are countries like China wherein it's being used for diverse purposes, and democracies need to think that if we don't have a proper regulatory framework with regard to development of such technologies, how it can impact behavior which may not be in the best interest of everyone.
Turning now to AI and India. What is India's national strategy for artificial intelligence, and in which all fields is the government using artificial intelligence?
See, the national strategy on artificial intelligence, we came out with it in 2018, which was one of the first countries to spell out our entire approach towards AI. It was primarily based on the principle of AI for all, meaning that AI will be used for economic growth, AI will be used for social development. And it focuses on using AI in order to ensure that people benefit. And the key pillars on that is the promoting research in AI, building compute facilities in AI, ensuring AI skilling, ensuring financing for AI startups, and building large scale solutions based on AI, which are, some of them are called moonshots, which can be deployed at the national level. So these are the 5-6 pillars on which our national strategy on AI is working. And if you look at the applications of AI so far, it's being used extensively in healthcare. We have solutions wherein AI solutions can be used to detect tuberculosis. There are solutions which have been used to detect breast cancer by using image recognition. There have been technologies where it is used to detect cataract, diabetic retinopathy. So healthcare, there is a big application of use of AI. Similarly, drug discovery, AI algorithms are used to like simulate situations and try to support researchers in making drugs. In agriculture, we have been using AI for
weather forecasting, for instance,
disease diagnosis, weather forecasting, and very interesting, we ran a program called Responsible AI for Youth last year, in which students from class 9 to 12th were given basic AI lessons, and then they were asked to ideate and think of some AI solutions. In that, there was a girl from a government school in Uttar Pradesh, from Lalitpur district. She came up with a solution which said that, which was analyzing data of the soil health card, the data of the soil, the weather data, crop history data, and using it to predict what crop will yield the maximum benefits for that. And this class 9th girl showed this model to our Honorable Prime Minister at the Digital India Week, and that showed like how Indian students, Indian youth are thinking about in terms of AI. Natural language processing is another area in which we are using AI. Because India, as you know, is a diverse country, 22 languages. Can we use AI to ensure that communications becomes easier? And the objective there is that, can a grandmother who knows only Tamil talk to her grandson who knows only Bengali and tell a story on the phone, and both of them speak in their own languages and follow that. So that's the power of AI which is possible. Using voice enabled internet, just like we are able to talk to the Alexas and Siris, can we use it for offering services to citizens? Can we talk to the, because most Indians will not be using apps and will not be able to navigate a website, but they will be able to use voice. So we are working, and already English and Hindi, that application is live on the Umang platform, that with voice, can I talk to my phone and say that when will I get my rations, or how do I track my passport, or how do I get my driving license? So that kind of services AI can enable. Then AI is also being used for predicting services. Like the example that I gave, that it says that you may like this movie or you may like this song, that predictions. So can it also be used for interlinking government services? And that if there is a person who applies for, say, like Manrega scheme, then immediately a prompt can come that your eligibility says that you are eligible for Manrega, already proved. You may also like to avail Ayushman Bharat health scheme, or you may also like to use a ration card. So government schemes also can be offered to people without they needing to go from portal to portal and applying for it separately. So AI modeling, AI predictions can be used in a great way to transform the way citizens interact with the government and the way they access public services.
Incredible. Now, Shashi ji, AI is expected to add $967 billion to the Indian economy by 2035. So what are the commercial opportunities that AI represents?
I think a lot of the examples that Abhishek just now shared are equally relevant to the commercial sector as well. The biggest opportunity, I would think, is what he was pointing out, healthcare and pharma Today, it's possible to use AI to accelerate the whole process of drug discovery, right? To come up with new compounds, come up with new kinds of biology. So these are all new potential opportunity areas. The other is, of course, agriculture. I think the great example of that, girl student, the idea that she came up with. What if you can intelligently use AI to boost the farm productivity across the country, right? I think those are all potential opportunities. Also, AI, the language interface that he's talked about, I think it's a great initiative that MIT has done with Bhashini to bring, Indian languages, both from a text-to-speech standpoint, from a recognition standpoint. If we can bridge that language gap, you open up the services sector in a very big way, right? A guy sitting in UP can service a customer sitting in Tamil Nadu, right? Why not? So it's not just government. The same applications have a huge potential in the private sector.
Okay, Mr. Singh, what is the government doing to catalyze the innovation ecosystem around AI? And is it being supported by any international partnerships?
See, like for driving innovation, we have several programs wherein like we run innovation challenges. Like when we did the RAISE summit, the Responsible AI for Social Empowerment summit that we did in 2020, which was done in virtual mode because of COVID-19 restrictions, and that saw participation of almost 80,000 people from across the world, from 147 nations. And we had speakers from 80 countries who took part in that. And it was brought together academicians, it brought together researchers, it brought together industry partners, startups and government representatives in order to deliberate on various aspects of AI. So during that RAISE summit, while one was working with the international community to work out common solutions for solving societal problems, and especially at the scale that we have in India, the second part was that we also ran an AI innovation challenge, in which we came up with certain problem statements and asked our startups and entrepreneurs and even college students to come up with solutions for that, and MIT provided funding for those solutions which were rewarded. So there was a solution that came from Patna, IIT Patna, with regard to forecasting floods depending on rain data, depending on the level of water in Ganges, and if you are able to get different sources of data and monitor that, then you will be able to issue warnings with regard to an impending flood maybe 2 days ahead or 3 days ahead than normal, and that would mean a lot in saving life and property. Similarly, agriculture, there has been like one of the solutions which I asked for the challenge. Somebody came up with an innovative challenge which used partly AI and partly IoT, in which it could like predict, like for example, depending on rains and depending on moisture content in water, for how many hours the farmer should be switching his submersible on, because very often in states like UP and Bihar, farmers have to go at the morning to switch on the pump. So, and then sometimes they over irrigate, sometimes they under irrigate, but if there is a technology solution which gives them a prompt on their phone that you have to run the pump only for 2 hours, they will save electricity, that they will ensure that they are saving water also. But then there was another innovator, student from a college. He tied it up with IoT and he said that you don't even need to go, the pump will switch on automatically and it will irrigate only for the time that is there. So these innovation challenges have led to a lot of solutions. Conversational AI has become the norm today. We have a lot of chatbot for all kinds of functions, and in fact even in government, like at MyGov, we built the AI chatbot, MyGov Corona Help Desk, that we called during COVID. That was primarily for disseminating information with regard to COVID-19 do's and don'ts, norms, lockdown, unlockdown, how to get e-passes and all. And 2021, the same chatbot became like a tool for downloading your vaccination certificates or booking vaccination appointments on a WhatsApp interface. And you did not, it was not a menu driven thing. You can just go and say that give my certificate or download certificate. It will understand what you are wanting to do. So that was AI driven, and now the chatbot is offering a service wherein you can download all your DigiLocker documents. Suppose you want your driving license, or you want your academic certificates, or you want your income tax document, PAN card or income tax certificates, or your Aadhaar card, you can get it on a WhatsApp interface using the AI interface that has been provided. There are a lot of applications which are there. Most of it is listed on our India AI, the National Portal on Artificial Intelligence, indiaai.gov.in. It lists all the innovations which the government has done, with the startups have done, with the industry has done, universities are doing, and all of it is available for everyone to consume.
And any international partnerships? Are we, tying up with some foreign governments also in terms of, sharing of technology and knowledge?
GPay is one of the initiatives where we are working on it. We are also participating with the India Stack initiative and the entire initiative at G20 wherein we are building like common partnerships with countries across the world, whether it's France, whether it's the US. The Summit for Democracy is also looking at developing some of the solutions which US hosts. So there are a lot of innovation, initiatives and partnerships wherein we are working parallelly with other governments.
So we benefit from the global ecosystem around AI.
Yes,
absolutely. Now, Shashi ji, you said in a paper that you wrote that with China making rapid progress in AI-based research, it is imperative that India view AI as a critical element of national security strategy. How can India prepare its jobs and skills market for an AI-based future and secure its strategic interests?
Yeah, I think that's a great observation. In fact, when that paper was written 6 years back, the scenario was very different. And now just listening to what Abhishek has just listed out, all the various things that have happened, I think a large part of what we envisioned back then that, India needs to do has already started to happen. So I'm not too concerned about these talent and the skills part, because we are starting right early with school children. The IITs and the IISc have come up with online programs where they're going beyond their structured curriculum to give data and statistics skills and AI related skills to a very large talent pool. So that way skills is not such a big issue. Where I see a challenge going forward is the enablement infrastructure, the computing power, the data centers, the cloud services, because we need those to be built out in India, because that is where the barrier will be lowered even further. And the other area where I see a challenge would be taking these capabilities to the traditional industries, to agriculture, to farming, to the small and medium enterprises, because the large tech companies, the large digital companies, they've adopted AI fairly quickly. But the more you go to the traditional sectors, right, and the small and medium sectors, I think that is where the challenge is, and that is where we'll require a whole lot of hand-holding, a lot of enablement, so that they can reap the benefits of AI.
Abhishek ji, coming back to GPay, what will be India's priorities as chair of this organization in 2022-2023?
Like, of course, being the chair of the GPay requires you to work with all the member countries, as also with the expert groups and the scientists and the AI code writers, in order to come out with a strategy which will lead to greater adoption of AI and which will lead to deployment of AI solutions at a large scale. So for that we will definitely be working on, but over and above, our objective will also be to showcase our strength in building solutions based on AI for tackling societal problems at population scale. We have already done that in various other technology fields, but use of AI to do that will give us an opportunity to create value for our startups, for our industry, as also create jobs for our Indian tech workforce. The second will be like the thematic areas of the GPay are very well defined. So therein we are also working on certain new areas which were not there till some time back, and one of them is climate change. Like, how do we can use AI for tackling the challenges of climate change? Then they are also like focusing on becoming part of the discussion forum and representing the voice of the developing world and the South in evolving the regulations around ethical and responsible AI. Then today the GPay only has 2 centers of excellence. One is at Montreal, the other one is Paris. So we are also proposing to set up of a center for excellence on AI in India, which will focus on developing solutions around healthcare and agriculture. So that's one of our focus areas. Then another area on which we had some discussions during the summit at Tokyo, and which many countries want India to lead, is about future of work, because AI is also regarded to take away mundane jobs. So there will be some jobs that will not be there. So will it affect employment?
Correct.
Also, it requires a strategy around skilling, reskilling, upskilling of the existing workforce, so that the new jobs that will emerge with regard to data scientists, with regard to data analysts, with regard to AI code writers. So we need to ensure that our curriculum has those aspects, and we need to ensure that our youth are imparted those skills which are regarded, which will help them find jobs later. So it should not be counterproductive when we look at future of work. And towards that objective, we have a program called Future Prime Skills, in which we are imparting such skills to people and helping them find jobs. So these are some of the areas on which we'll focus on. We'll require to work with the experts, with the multilateral expert groups, the MEG group that is there, and to ensure that we come out with a strategy which benefits the entire global community.
Final question. How confident are you about the future of AI in India?
Very confident. I think we have a government, a Prime Minister who understands the importance of technology. Prime Minister Modi has never been shy of taking risks with technology. He understands the immense potential that technology holds for India's development. And that is why we are seeing all the action that has happened in the last 5-6 years with all these national level strategy and initiatives around AI. But we need to prepare for the future. Quantum computing is right there standing at our doorstep. Today we have a fairly sizable talent pool that has the relevant skills, but we don't have the entire ecosystem behind it. The holy grail ultimately will be where quantum computing and AI come together to solve problems that we haven't even figured out how to solve them as of today. So that is the future that I potentially see for India. And a lot of core research should happen in India so that the IP, the intellectual property, gets created in India. Right now, that's not happening as much. So that would be the other big area that we should tackle.
Abhishek ji, your final thoughts?
See, I fully agree with him. The opportunity for us is there. Like in every field, we have the opportunity to create value, to create brand India. India Stack is something that the whole world is looking at. At G20, the Digital Economy Working Group is already working on that. In the meeting that I held, I met IT ministers and CTOs of almost all countries, and they all have high expectations from India, given our strength in building technology solutions for not only the government, for the private sector in the world, the banks and all, they all run on Indian software. So also for using AI for tackling the large scale societal problems at this scale. So we have the expectations of the whole world, we have the strength. At the policy level, we just need to bring everything together in order to ensure that we are able to get our rightful place.
Well, thank you very much, Shashi ji and Abhishek ji, for explaining to our viewers so lucidly the entire AI ecosystem in India and how India is contributing to the world of AI. Well, artificial intelligence has indeed emerged as a game changer with its ability to revolutionize everything from agriculture to city management. It has the potential to help us tackle the most pressing global issues from climate change to social inequality. That is why India joined GPay, and India now occupying its chair signifies how the world today perceives India as a trusted technology partner and one that has always advocated the ethical use of technology for transforming citizens' lives. Let's hope that under India's chairmanship, GPay steers us towards a future where AI is a significant force for good in the world. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Diplomatic Dispatch. Till we meet again next week, take care and goodbye.